1.7 trillion naira by the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosu.
You're welcome to Celebration Television News Desk. I am Nicholas Akosile Walter. Here are the news making the headlines. Lawmakers aids plans protest over unpaid salaries, and National Assembly increases security. Head of French military operation in Sahel refutes Mali Prime Minister's abandonment accusation. Coalition talks begin after close elections. Petrol subsidy hits 905.27 billion naira and oil rises to 79.71 US dollars. Osimhen tops Lewandowski and Haaland. Do stay with us as we bring you details of the news after the short break. You welcome back and thanks for joining. Now the news in details. Lawmakers aids plans protest over unpaid salaries and National Assembly increases security. The plan by aids to members of the National Assembly under the auspices of the salary arrears affected legislative aids to shut down the federal parliament has forced the management to increase security in and around the complex. Security was tight at the National Assembly complex as the entrances to the central lobby of the White House, which houses the chambers, was manned by sergeant-at-arms. The aggrieved aides had threatened to ground activities at the National Assembly from Monday over alleged non-payment of their salary arrears and allowances in 2019, amounting to 3.1 billion naira. While the Senate and the House of Representatives do not hold plenary, the members are expected to sit today till Thursday. It was gathered that personnel of the Nigerian Police Force, Department of State Services, and Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps have been deployed in strategic locations to complement the sergeants-at-arms. The leadership of SALO, however, in its statement said the protest became necessary to press home their demands. Coordinator of SALO, Zebis Prince, and 5 other members of the leadership had issued a statement that they were owed 3.1 billion naira, comprising 1.35 billion naira in salary arrears and 1.75 billion naira for consequential adjustment on minimum wage. SALO claimed that over 1,300 aides are owed salary arrears, while none of the 2,345 legislative aides had received the consequential adjustment of minimum wage since their appointments in June 2019. However, Chairman of the National Assembly Legislative Aides Forum, Salisu Zuru, had disowned SALO's describing their planned actions as illegal. The clerk to the National Assembly, Ojo Olatunde Amos, said management had since met with the leadership of the group. Ojo says through his special advisor on media and labor matters, Austin Adesoro, the principal officers are holding their best to ensure that whatever needs to be done is done to ensure the release of the funds from the Ministry of Finance. Moving forward now, federal government shuts Secretariat Thursday over security. The federal government will from Thursday afternoon shut down some sections of a federal secretariat complex in Abuja as part of efforts to ensure a hitch-free 61st Independence celebration on Friday. The complex is located close to the Eagle Square in the Free Arms Zone, and the square will be hosting the grand finale of the Independence program on Friday. The President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to lead top government officials and friends of the country to the event. The plan to shut down the complex consisting of high-rise building overlooking the square, it was lent was for security purposes. And the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemiesa, disclosed the government's decision in a circular titled Closure of Federal Secretariat Phases 1 to 3 on Thursday, September 30th, 2021 by 2 p.m. In line with security arrangements for the event, the Federal Secretariat complex's phases 1 to 3 were closed for businesses with effect from 2 p.m. on Thursday, September 30th, 2021. It was further learned that major roads leading to the square will be closed to traffic on Thursday evening to enable security agencies to sweep the venue ahead of the program. Quickly, in another development, federal government enrolls 484,000 from 23 states in healthcare funds. The federal government has said 484,000 Nigerians have been enrolled into the Basic Health Center Provision Fund as of April 2021 in its efforts to implement the National Health Act. The Secretary of the Ministerial Oversight Committee of the Federal Ministry of Health, Dr. Chris Isokpong, disclosed this in an interview. The National Health Act 2014, which was signed into law on October 31st, 2014, provides a legal framework for the regulation, development, and management of a nation's health system. Part 1, Section 11 of the law makes a provision for the establishment of Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, which provides for not less than 1% consolidated revenue fund for health funding. In 2017, the Senate passed a resolution mandating its appropriation committee to make provision for the BHCPF in the 2018 budget. When passing the 2018 budget in May, it earmarked 57.15 billion naira for the BHCPF, and the enrollees, he added, are drawn from 23 states across the country. Isokun says no funding was received from 2019 budget, none was also received from the 2020 budget. But there was funding allocated from the 2021 budget, and a committee was inaugurated in April this year. And the committee had its first briefing in June, and it says for the primary health care, all the 36 states of the Federation have received disbursement from the Basic Healthcare Fund as of September 2020, and the primary healthcare facilities are functioning based on the disbursement of the funds. And quickly, coming from around Africa, head of French military operation in Sahel refutes Mali Prime Minister's abandonment accusation. France Bakani military operation commander rejects claims made by Malian Prime Minister Choguel Maiga. Maiga had accused France of abandoning the conflict-torn country with his decision to draw down troops this year. The plan to leave Tessalit, Kidal, and Kambutu dates back about 2 years, 18 months. It was drawn up with the G5 heads of states, notably in Bamako and Niamey, stressed General Laurent Mika. Speaking in Mauritanian capital Nouakchott, General Laurent Mika rejected the term abandonment employed by Maiga during his address to the General Assembly to describe the restructuring of France's military presence in the Sahel. He says the fact that they are withdrawing their symbolic presence from these three garrisons, this is absolutely not an abandonment. It is a change of position in military terms. In these three places, in these three garrisons, MINUSMA units and above all these of a firma are firmly established, and this is not and abandonment. Mali is close to sealing a deal with Russian company and the Wagner Group to hire mercenaries to help fight Islamist insurgents. France has warned Mali that hiring the fighters from the Russian security firm would isolate the countries internationally and be incompatible with continued French presence there. And still coming from around Africa, Mali elections could be postponed, Prime Minister says. Elections scheduled for early next year in Mali could be postponed by months, and the Prime Minister says, adding that he was looking for alternative security partners to France as he prepares to reduce his troop presence in the conflict-torn country. The main thing is less to hold them on February 27 than to hold elections that will not be contested. Choguel Kolala Maige says, and he suggested presidential and legislative elections could be postponed by 2 months, 2 weeks, adding that a decision will be taken in October following a meeting of a national forum. Also, it's better to organize peaceful elections recognized by all rather than to organize elections that will be disputed. And elections promised for February 2022 by strongman Colonel Assimi Goita are aimed at restoring civilian rule following a coup in August last year against elected President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, and the military then appointed an interim civilian government tasked with steering back to democratic rule. But Goita deposed the civilian leaders of the interim government in May in his second coup and was later declared president himself. He has pledged to respect the February deadline for civilian elections set by the interim government, which also set October 31st as a date for holding a constitutional referendum. And both earlier this month, the West African bloc ECOWAS said it feared the potential today. We're going on a very short break. When we'll come back, we'll bring you updates from Germany. Do well to stay with us.
What business are you planning to showcase to the world? That which will satisfy the need of humanity? Of course, with Celebration TV, it will get the desired reciprocation you long for. We are committed to giving your business and services that quality touch of class, and you will be happy you made the right choice by placing that investment of yours on the right platform. Without delay, you can call on this number for your advert placement, partnership, or sponsorship of our programs. Celebration Television, your best bet.
You're welcome back. And now, updates from Germany. Coalition talks begin after close election. The polls have closed in Germany. Centrist left Social Democrats have claimed a narrow victory in the federal election. Now the complicated process of forming a coalition government begins. SPD leader Olaf Scholz wants to work with the Greens and Liberals and says they have a public mandate to do so. But his conservative rival Armin Laschet will not give up that easily. The talks can take months. Until then, Angela Merkel will remain in office, and that means that a coalition government must be formed. This is nothing new for Germany, as since the Second World War, no party has ever won enough seats to form a government on its own. Olaf Scholz' SPD party claimed victory, but he will need to join forces with other parties if he wants to secure the chancellery. The other leading party, Chancellor Merkel's Conservative Christian Democratic Union, suffered its worst ever performance with Armin Laschet as its candidate. And the SDP and SPD and the Conservative have governed together for years. However, Mr. Scholz says he wants to join forces with the Greens and Liberal Free Democratic Party. Now, more updates coming from North Korea. North Korea fires missiles and says South military. North Korea has fired a short-range missile towards the sea of its east coast early on says, and the South Korea military have said. And the test happens as North Korea's ambassador says at the UN that no one could deny Pyongyang's rights to self-defense and to test weapons. Earlier this month, Pyongyang test fired both ballistic and cruise missiles. Several days ago, North Korea had also expressed willingness to engage in talks with the South. The U.S. military says it was aware of a missile launch, but that it posed no immediate threat to U.S. personnel or its allies. However, the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command says that the launch highlighted the destabilizing impact of North Korea's illicit weapons program. And South Korea President Moon Jae-in has ordered Seoul's National Security Council to analyze any intentions behind Pyongyang's latest missile launch and recent statements from Kim Jong-un's powerful sister, Kim Jong-un. And Ms. Kim had days earlier says they were open to Mr. Moon's proposal to formally declare an end to the Korean War, but added that the South needed to stop its hostile policies first. And we'll go straight to business news right now. Petrol subsidy hits 905.27 billion naira, and oil rises to $79.71 US. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation spent a total of 905.27 billion naira on petrol subsidy in 8 months amid rising global oil prices. The latest data obtained from the corporation has shown. Within the national oil benchmark, Brent crude nearing $80 per barrel on Monday, up to 2.07% at $79.71 US per barrel as of 7 p.m. Nigerian time. The landing cost of imported petrol and subsidy expected to increase. The subsidy, which the NNPC refers to core value shortfall or under recovery, resurfaced in January this year as the government left the pump price of petrol unchanged at 162 to 165 naira per litre, despite the increase in global oil prices. The federal government had in March 2020 removed petrol subsidy after reducing pump price of the product to 125 naira per litre from 145 naira following the sharp drop in crude oil prices. The NNPC, which has been the sole importer of petrol into the country in recent years, has been bearing the subsidy cost since it resurfaced. Data from the corporation shows that it incurred 25.37 billion naira subsidy cost in January, 60.40 billion naira in February, 111.97 billion naira in March, and 126.30 billion naira in April, and 114.34 billion naira in May. The subsidy cost rose from 143.29 billion naira in June to 175.32 billion naira in July, but fell to 149.28 billion naira in August, according to VNMPC. The August 2021 value shortfall of 149 billion naira is to be deducted from the September 2021 proceeds due to sharing at the October 2021 FARC meeting. And still on business news, Goldman Sachs quotes China growth forecast over power outages. Goldman Sachs has become the latest banking giant to quote its growth forecast for China as the country struggles with energy shortages. It now expects the world's second largest economy to expand by 7.8% this year, down from its previous prediction of 8.2%. The firm says major industrial output cut caused by power outages are significant downside pressures. It estimates as much as 44% of China's industrial activities has been affected. The power supply crunch caused by environmental controls, supply constraints, and soaring prices has left some factories and homes without electricity. The energy shortage at first affected manufacturers across the country, many of whom have had to curb or stop production in recent weeks. A document since showed that the largest port in northern China at Tianjin has been affected by a shortage of electricity. Power rationing for cranes that lift cargo between ships and the shore is expected to continue until the end of the week. This shortage has now spread to some homes, with residents in northeast China experiencing unannounced power cuts in the past few days. People living in Liaoning, Jingjiang, and Heilongjiang provinces have actually complained on social media about the lack of heating and lifts and traffic lights not working. Provincial authorities have been scrambling to guarantee electricity and heating for residents. We'll go on a short break. When we'll come back, we'll bring you sport news. Do well, stay with us as we bring you that fascinating sport news after now.
What business are you planning to showcase to the world? That which will satisfy the need of humanity? Of course, with Celebration TV, it will get the desired reciprocation you long for. We are committed to giving your business and services that quality touch of class, and you will be happy you made the right choice by placing that investment of yours on the right platform. Without delay, you can call on this number for your advert placement, partnership, or sponsorship of our programs. Celebration Television, your best bet.
You welcome Sports News. Osimhen tops Lewandowski and Haaland. Osimhen netted his 6 goals. The campaign in Napoli's 2-0 victory over Cagliari to net his 6th goal in 5 games. He opened his accounts for the month and the season in Napoli's 2-2 draw against Leicester City in the Europa League on September 16th, scoring a brace after he had drawn blanks in their 2-1 victory over. He also scored a goal against Udinese on September 20th before adding another brace against Sampdoria on September 23rd. Borussia Dortmund's Erling Haaland has scored 5 goals in 3 games, while Leipzig's Christopher Nkunku also has 5 goals in 4 games. The player on 4 goals include Cristiano Ronaldo, Mohamed Salah, Robert Lewandowski, and Dzeko and Wissam Ben Yedder. Meanwhile, Napoli coach Luciano Spalletti has hailed Osimhen for his contribution to the team's 2-0 victory over Cagliari on Sunday. The Eagle strikers scored the first goal and won the penalty for the second goal, which was called by Lorenzo Insigne before being removed in the 77th minute. Speaking after victory, Spalletti described Osimhen as a great team man. Former Juventus coach Fabio Capello also believes Osimhen will be important to Napoli's title charge. In another sports news, Adesanya hits at relocating to US from New Zealand UFC. Middleweight champion Israel Adesanya has hinted that he'll be moving his training camp away from New Zealand to the United States due to the country's stringent COVID-19 lockdown rules. Adesanya and his teammates at City Kickboxing have faced several challenges from the government and have also found it difficult to travel in and out of the country due to travel restrictions. New Zealand had been able to suppress the outbreak of COVID-19 virus due to its early lockdown and strict border measures. Not pleased with the situation, Adesanya, who has had his fight with rival Robert Whittaker postponed till 2022 due to the travel restrictions, has set his mind on moving his entire camp to the U.S. in order to facilitate his training ahead of the fight. Adesanya wrote on Instagram that he is moving to America. Adesanya had recently promised to never fight in New Zealand due to unfair treatments. And that has brought us to the end of the news on Celebration Television News Desk. In case you're just joining us, here's the news headlines recap. Lawmakers aid planned protest over unpaid salaries and National Assembly increases security. Head of French military operation in Sahel refutes Mali Prime Minister's abandonment accusation. Coalition talks begins after close elections. Petrol subsidy hits 905.27 billion naira and oil rises to 79.71 US dollars. Osimhen tops Lewandowski and Haaland. And quickly we have photo of the day. What do you see? Is somebody tied right there and still, you see, being restricted from getting something. What does that depict? Some restrictions are not to hurt you, but to help. So when it comes, always take it in good faith. And you can drop your comment on our social media platforms on Facebook, Celebration TV, Instagram, My Celebration TV, on Twitter, at My Celebration TV, YouTube, Celebration TV. Always remember that your positive contribution to the wellness of the society you find yourself or the organization you work defines your leadership mind. As an individual who knows what to do and do without expecting to be pushed has backed his ways to success. Be it known today that everything we do, think, feel, and believe either has a positive or negative effect on humanity and our national well-being. Be a part of nation building today. Thank you so much for staying with us on our news desk. I remain Nicholas Akosile Walter. Bye for now. To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing AIM of committing a gross offence.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikule Amosu.